Sunday spread. Fan speaks, that voice that's inside your head. Best ball, DFS, NFL bets. They built it brick by brick, no regrets. Fan speak team. Printing money since day one. Fan speak. Forever.
Welcome back to another lunchtime episode, talking best ball, talking ball, Steve-O speak. We got a lot to talk about, get into. Not anything major news, but I do think we can start. We're coming up to the end of pre-draft stuff, so I think it's now is when we want to kind of make our last big swings, our last big pushes to get certain players, to get certain builds, things of that nature. We will get into all of it, do some drafts, talk ball, the usual. Let's check out chat. Money in a thing asking, I'm wondering if Steve is petitioning internally to revoke thumbnail duties from Meg. Yeah. And we will talk about Rodgers and the Steelers. Would not have necessarily been my top choice for the thumbnail. Got Mike Robin here. Absolutely. Got Paul Legion checking in. Elijah Surratt just feels like a Steeler. I actually tend to agree. I've said it before. Elijah Surratt has played the last 3 years, not just at Indiana, but previous to that at JMU for Kirk Cignetti. Kirk Cignetti's brother, Frank Cignetti Jr., is back with Mike McCarthy. He's been all around coaching both college and pro. But he was with McCarthy, actually first with the Saints. He was McCarthy's quarterback coach for the Saints. And then he did a year in Green Bay before McCarthy was done in Green Bay. So not only that, he also knows Aaron Rodgers. He was Rodgers' quarterback coach for a year. But he's kind of an unnamed offensive assistant right now. But I think he might have an in on Elijah Surratt. And the Steelers, they have a first rounder, 21. They're not taking Surratt there, but also with the Michael Pittman news, I don't think they're taking a receiver there. They have a second round pick. They have 3 thirds and 2 fourths. So they can move up and down on day 2, early day 3. I think Surratt goes end of second, early third. And, that's just the perfect range for the Steelers, whether it's waiting to the third and maybe moving it up a little bit to get them or something like that. Giving Drama King more pub. We got Who Hames in here. Sup, fam? Good to see you. I was on with Who Hames yesterday. We talked the tight end market and pricing. We had a few differences and maybe some general principle about, drafting early tight end versus not early tight end. But overall, we were kind of in line with a lot of things. I thought it was a really good conversation. Really enjoyed it. And I recommend anyone checking that out. That's on Who Hames' channel from yesterday. When you need a thing, no more undervalued offense in the Hamilton Tiger Cats. That'd be pretty undervalued. We got Meg checking in, Hartman checking in. In my last draft, I took Surratt in the 19th round, which feels nice because I do think Surratt is a third round pick and a bit overvalued. I think it's all a matter of, how things fall. Like, to me, it depends on what you're looking for also. Like, yes, if you want somebody fast and also who's going to return kicks, take Zachariah Branch. But realize Zachariah Branch plays like 10 snaps a game. Like, he's a very limited, probably upside player. Like, Surratt, I think, could be a starter in this league. Could play power slot, could play outside. Kind of in that, Romeo Dubs. I understand Dubs was a 4th rounder. But, we've seen others like Keenan Allen with a similar profile. Cooper Kupp, those are 3rd rounders. So yeah, I think somewhere in that 2nd, 3rd round is really his range. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Indiana Pro Day is today. I need to double check on that. So maybe we'll actually get some testing numbers for him and everyone else from Indiana. We got GAB for life in here. What's up, fam? Good to see you, GAB. GAB had a show last night with was it Nice and Blunt? And I checked that out. So always check out his channel, GAB Sports, on YouTube. So yeah, the topic of today is undervalued offenses. And I do think now that we're deep into the free agency, trades, free agency, all these things have gone down. This is relatively the ADPs we're going to get for the rest of this big board and the rest of the little board. And if we're lucky enough for them to release anything else pre-draft, I don't see many major swings. Like maybe some injury pops up with some draft prospect, maybe some report comes out or some like negative thing from their past comes out where it's like, okay, that guy's going to fall. Potentially I don't think we will, but like honestly, like some of the biggest news would be, do we get any clarity on the Rashee Rice situation? Like what directions that's going? And I don't think that's going to happen. So these are probably the ADPs that we're going to get. So I think it's fair to start looking at kind of some over and undervalued offenses. Today we're going to look at undervalued. And since it is the cover boy, I will pull up the Steelers. And, this is the issue is well, it's not a guarantee it's Aaron Rodgers. I think it's more likely than not. I'd probably put it 60-65% as Meg put in our Discord. We saw the other day Mike McCarthy was on Pat McAfee, talk kind of openly. Like he's had plenty of conversations with Rodgers. Rodgers has talked to coaches. This idea that there's nothing in the works there, I think is just false. And yes, nothing's signed yet. Rodgers is making his decision, but I do think we end up seeing him come back. If not, it's probably Kirk Cousins. I think that's probably their fallback option. There's some connections there with Brian Angelico, their offensive coordinator. He was Cousins' passing game coordinator. And, I just don't think it's going to be Will Howard. And definitely not like a Ty Simpson or anything like that. So the quarterback goes obviously super late. But the other part of this is we have DK Metcalf at wide receiver 38. He trounced that last year, despite missing 2 games and playing in a far more anemic offense. We have Michael Pittman at wide receiver 45, ADP, essentially 97. And that's just way too low for these two guys. Even if they do add a third receiver, that's good. Mike McCarthy's offenses have consistently been top 5, top 10 offenses. I understand you could say quarterback play has been better in those historically. That is true. But Aaron Rodgers has not actually been bad these last couple of years. Is he the same Aaron Rodgers MVP caliber of old? No, but he threw 30 touchdowns with the Jets 2 years ago. I think it was 24 last year. He actually had he's had like a 4.8% touchdown rate. And those were in, what I think more anemic offenses. We've seen McCarthy be far more aggressive than what we saw, with the Jets 2 years ago. And of course, what we saw last year with the Steelers. And having 2 weapons, that's something he didn't have last year. It was Metcalf or bust. Well, I think these running back ADPs are wrong. I think we should flip them. I think Rico should be the guy going 77.9 and Warren is the guy I actually push more to 100. The fact that no Steeler goes before ADP 77 is just wild to me. We have 2 Browns that go, Fannin is right in this mix also where Metcalf and Warren go. But essentially we have 2 Browns priced higher than any Steeler. That is just undoubtedly wrong. There's just no question. Could maybe a Browns player be more valuable than this? Absolutely. And probably be Judkins. That's why one of the reasons why I'm more out on Fannin. But the idea that no Steeler player is going to be more valuable than 2 Browns just seems ridiculous. And that's just in their division. Obviously, there's other teams. The Jets have 2 players in the top 35 picks. And not just from the Steelers, and we'll talk about it, like, a team like the Patriots. The 2 Jets go off the board before a single Patriot. There's no world where that makes actual sense. Again, is it possible one of them is worth that pick? Yes, but probably not both. And I do think that is a factor. And one of the things when I say some of these teams are being drafted wrong, it's because of that. The ADPs have not been efficient. Let me get over to chat, and then I want to get into this a little bit more. Whoever thought Best Ball Sickos would ever track Indiana's pro day? Yeah, I don't know if I know last year, there's a group, some guys to draft as well, but Indiana for years would be lucky to have one drafted player, if that, and usually it's a day 3 guy. So yeah, I'm sure they're not used to having a whole slew of, because now with it being Mendoza, with it being like a first round receiver, second round corners and pawns, and second, third round receiver in Surratt, like we're talking GMs, player personnel directors. I doubt many GMs over the last 15 years have visited Indiana, and now probably just about everyone is going there. And I think it was today or tomorrow, so I'm honestly not sure. We got Nice and Blunt checking in. What's going on? Jamie checking in. Was that you or the bossy lady turning on the music? That was me to avoid the bossy lady from jumping in. What's the word on IU Pro Day? I honestly haven't seen anything yet, and I don't know 100% it is today. I just remember seeing that it was early April when I looked a couple weeks ago, and now it's April 1st. So I think it's one of these next 3 days. Steve, it's 99% Aaron Rodgers. He's talking to coaches in McCarthy weekly. I'd put it 90% at minimum. Well, it's good. It's good that you are staying reserved. So it did start today. Thanks, Paul. Aaron Rodgers has literally been the best quarterback value for like a month now. I agree. No, and he's the most likely of anyone. Yesterday FK asked like, who are my quarterbacks sub 200, and I did include Tua, who's at like 196, but it's like your options are nothing now. There's just essentially Tua and Aaron Rodgers, and if you want to take a Browns shot, every other likely starting quarterback, even Jacoby Brissett, which I think is far from guarantee, goes earlier. I mean, not only playing 17 games, playing 7 games right now for anyone 200, 196 or later. It's Tua and Aaron Rodgers. That's it. And this is why, because selecting the Cleveland Brown is a great idea if you hate money. Agreed. Offensive concentration matters with those teams. Steelers and Patriots spread it out. Well, the Steelers before spread it out, but are they going to now? I mean, historically, Mike McCarthy, his top couple receivers do pretty well. And it's just, there's more volume there. There's just going to be way more volume. And I understand this. Like Devin Achane is on a terrible offense. I understand he's worthy of a first round pick. There are those unique unicorn players who can be great on any team. The problem was honestly when we were still taking Waddle on the Dolphins still pretty high. Like and I honestly don't know if we can say for sure they do spread it out, because Breece Hall doesn't get the full workload that people think. And is Judkins going to get the full workload? I mean, he doesn't do a lot in the passing game. I'm just not sure we can definitively say that all these teams have had coaching changes, either offense coordinators like with the Jets or full coaches like the Browns and the Dolphins and obviously the Steelers. So I honestly don't know if we can fully point that they're gonna be a massive difference. I'd really question that. I think yes, the Steelers have now have multiple guys to use, but this is more like a full also picture. We have 4 guys in the last quarter of the top 100, 2 running backs, 2 receivers, and then quarterback goes super late, and then 2 super late tight ends. Like there's very few teams that are that massively spread out. Just to compare to a team like the Cardinals, we have Trey McBride, top 20 pick. We have 2 receivers essentially going before a single Steeler receiver. Then we have 2 running backs. Now there is a pretty big gap here, but again, 4 in the top 100. But many of them higher than the Steelers. The quarterback's higher than the Steelers. And I mean, I like LaFleur. I think there's a lot of promise there. Obviously, his brother's done well. He's come from the McVay tree. But Mike McCarthy's a far more proven commodity in the NFL. He's succeeded with 2 NFL teams. And so, this is what I mean and this is why I have low percentages on these guys, because I think these prices are all wrong. And potentially by a wide margin. Now, I probably feel, and I do feel the safest on Marv, because I think you can say Marv can still hit that ADP, but it probably means McBride's not hitting his. And why? Because it's so high. And probably means Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson should be going in the low 100s. We have so many number 2 receivers on other teams going in the low 100s. Jalen Coker, Jane Reed, Matthew Golden, and that's the 2 and the 3 there. Jaden Higgins for the Texans. Michael Wilson goes higher than Jordan Addison. Michael Wilson goes higher than some number 1s like Romeo Doubs, which, yes, AJ Brown could come in there, but I just have a tough time buying that. And that's when I go back to a team like the Steelers. And so let's pivot to another team that I think is underpriced, and that is the Titans. Now, the difference here, there's more projection, simply because, there's more projection because Cam Ward is far more unproven commodity. Brian Dable, we just don't know as much. And there's still the caveats, are the Titans going to take Jeremiah Love? That kind of thing. But the first receiver for the Titans goes 102. Why Michael Wilson goes 71? Somebody's going to have to come in and tell me that. Tony Pollard goes 104. I know that's a Jeremiah Love thing, but even still, he was going, no higher than 80. Cam Ward goes pretty late, and I do expect a nice little bounce, year 2 bounce for Cam Ward. And then all these other receivers are just super cheap. Even, it used to be DK and Ridley used to essentially be reversed. I'd taken 0 Ridley before, because I thought he could get cut and he could, just languish on some team in obscurity. But now all 3 of these guys are just super cheap options. Taj Spears, their number 2 back. There's a 70 pick gap between him and Pollard. And even if Jeremiah Love comes in, I don't think that nukes Taj Spears, because I think Pollard's gone one way or the other. And then Gunnar Helm, super late. So this is a team we need to, develop and grow and be better, but they don't have a single player in the top 100. That screams of being underpriced. Now, yes, this team could fail again. This team could have similar issues. Cam Ward just might not be it. And in which case, maybe only 1 or 2 of these guys end up being worthy of their ADPs, or at least, kind of solid values. So I do think the Titans are just a pretty underpriced team. And I understand, when we talk about a team like the Cardinals, McBride has done it. But if McBride's paying off that ADP, to me, there's no way, particularly both Harrison and Wilson can pay off theirs. We got Pepper Tony in here. And let me hit up chat a little bit more. Are there any players you're specifically interested in their pro day, not specifically Indiana? Getting actual testing numbers is good. I don't think it's the be all end all. The actual, it's rare that we hear a guy had a bad pro day, in terms of whether it's a receiver running routes or running back running drills, etc. So that kind of stuff is more or less not too important. Again, every now and then, and you want them to have as good a pro day as possible, but in general, I'm not going to be overly concerned. If you hear something like a receiver dropped, 10 of his 30 targets at pro day, then yeah, that's maybe a little troubling. I'm not going to, It's just more having some testing numbers. And again, those are usually taken with more of a grain of salt compared to the combine numbers. And even still, like certain guys, like, when we got Scadaboo's pro day number last year, it was fine. It just checked the box. Like, I knew he wasn't blazing fast, but I also knew he was a good running back. Like, it just confirmed he's not uber slow. He's not running a 5 second 40. Pepper Tony said Rodgers finished his top 12 quarterback 4 times versus the Jets, Bengals, 2 times versus the Ravens. Terrible Ravens, 1 in week 18. Nearly every other week he was 25th or lower. Yeah, that is true. There's, it's also one, we went into the year thinking the Jets and the Ravens defense were going to be great. So we just don't know some of this going in. And it's, unfortunately he got hurt in the second Bengals game. But the reality is, you could do that with a lot of players, not necessarily top tier guys, but there's a lot of guys who rack up numbers against terrible defenses. And yeah, those games matter as well. And especially if you're going to face multiple of them. I understand, like, Rodgers didn't have necessarily great numbers against the Patriots or Seahawks. I wouldn't expect it. And I'm not saying he's going to go out there and have, 8 top 12 quarterback games, but you're getting 4 games, top 12. I think he had 3 20-point fantasy games. And he did miss a game, essentially a game and a half. So 3, 4 20-point games, that is tremendous value for a guy going where he's going right now. And even if he goes where Geno's going, that's what we should expect from Geno. Like, we shouldn't expect anything more from Geno or Jacoby Brissett or any of these other guys, going to like 150 or later. So I don't think he's washed. Like, his stats don't play that out. I did a show a couple weeks ago where his stats, his like raw, completion percentage, touchdown percentage, yards per attempt, things like that, been very comparable to Jordan Love. And Love offers a little bit more rushing upside, but he's actually been doing it less and less. And so if he's not doing it, it doesn't really count. And, I think he's just, for a third quarterback, I think he's fine. And the other thing is this, what Meg says is last year they were a one-trick pony with DK Metcalf, is Arthur Smith. Now they have more weapons. Now they have a far more inventive offensive system. So I just think the Steelers last year, with everything that happened, were like a top 15 offense. And I think they're likely to improve on that. I've been saying 2024 was better than 2022, and I do. Let's have this talk real quick. Like, I'll bring up his stats, and honestly, we do have to keep in mind, reps and attempts and things of that's why the Cardinals are overpriced, is because they threw the most pass attempts last year. I will basically bet anyone that's not happening this year. Like, the chance that happens again this year is infinitesimal. Like I would be surprised if they're in the top 5, top 10 of pass attempts. And that's why I think all the Cardinals are very, very overpriced. So 3 straight years, 2022, 2024, 2025, Aaron Rodgers had a 4.8 touchdown percentage. That's middle of the pack. The reality is, before his wrist injury, Aaron Rodgers was actually top 5 in touchdown percentage. He threw a lot less down the stretch. I understand he's older and that's a concern. But we're talking 3 straight years of like middle of the pack touchdown percentage, 24 to 28 touchdowns in that range. There's a lot of teams, don't even crack 20 touchdowns passing. And I understand he has 0 rushing ability, could get lucky for one rushing touchdown like he had last year. That's just super lucky. But if he's out there producing, let's call it 25 passing touchdowns, that is a draftable quarterback. There's no question to me that's a draftable quarterback at that point. I pulled Wandale up to 86 in the recent draft because I hated all the receivers ahead of him. He's always been a target monster, and his path to surprise. Yeah, exactly. Like, this is what I mean about that's a team that's just lowly valued. And it doesn't make sense. Like, I think Wandale has a limited ceiling. Like, he's not going to compete to be a top 10 receiver, top 15 receiver. I don't care how many targets they give him. He's just not going to produce enough touchdowns. But his ability to outperform his ADP, huge. More Rodgers talk. Miss Yeltsin, I know this won't be popular, but I want Aaron Rodgers to retire. I don't think it's happening this year. I think this is the one last ride. Funny to think, I know this won't be popular, but I want Aaron Rodgers on my Albatross team. Fantasy Monster, the Browns, if Shador gets a fair chance, is the best undervalued offense. Book it. I mean, what I would say, Fantasy Monster, and I appreciate you for joining, even if Shador has a good year, I think it's tough for them to pay off two top 75-ish ADPs in Judkins and Fannin. More so Fannin, because Judkins does have a real touchdown upside, and I do think the Browns are going to add some receivers. So, Judy could pay off, but honestly, they're just a tough team for me right now. Like Rob, damn, who would ever thought talking about Aaron Rodgers would bring him up this screen at 100%. Index of suspicion, absolutely can't gamble on Arizona going DGAF. And that's the thing, Index, because the other thing with Arizona is they had zero running game last year. Their top two backs got injured super early, and they just gave up. They absolutely gave up running the ball. Their defense was bad. And so Jacoby Brissett, and this is not, like when we say Jameis Winston slings the ball, he does. He has a career history of this all the time. That's not Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett turned into Jameis Winston in multiple ways with the turnovers and bad plays as well. And that's just not a repeatable thing. And this is Fantasy Monster. Like, did Arizona defense get better? They added a few pieces, not much, I'd say. So I do think that's a concern. But it wasn't just their defense; it was their total lack of a run game. Wait, what's this? Oh, this has to be a April Fool's. Hartman, don't you put that bad juju on me. You're gonna make me look this up. Our drafts business, DraftKings been wait a minute. This better be April Fools. Okay. I mean, I'm surprised they didn't automatically say anything. Also, not a great look for them to say that, just given everything that's happened. So, definitely being thrown for a loop here. So book it, Steve. No, I haven't gotten. Seattle was another one, and let me bring them up now. Sorry, I'm still praying that this is an April Fool's joke. So Seattle, obviously they have their alpha in JSN, but next you have Sam Darnold, quarterback 22, ADP 130, and Rashid Shaheed 140. The running backs, I think Sharps is going a little too high given his, question concerning injury. In the right type of build, I think you can still take him. I'm just going to wait post-draft at this point. Manuel Wilson, George Halani goes super late. Horton and Kupp goes super late. AJ Barner goes very late for tight end 22. Basically, what I like about this, I think they're underpriced, but it's also efficiently priced. Like JSN can pay off, and all these other guys can pay off. There's nothing preventing, probably not these three back. Like one or two of these backs are going to be big time values. Probably at least one, if not two of the three receivers are going to be big time values. Like moderate. Like I'm not saying Shaheed's going to be a top 20 receiver, but if Shaheed is going as wide receiver 59, if he ends as wide receiver 38, that's a big value. If and Cooper Kupp wide receiver 91, it'd be hard for him not to pay off that ADP. And he finishes as a wide receiver 70, something like that. So I think that is for sure one of the teams that I like because I think there's a lot of efficiency there. Aaron Rodgers is Costco Brissett. Well, I mean, he completes the ball, so there's a positive there. Also, maybe one of the running backs on the roster now could be a nice value paired with whichever rookie they take. Agreed. Yeah. It's probably like, and that's why I wish Sharps just went a little later, because I would be more interested if he went later. Because I could see, and I think you and I are both in the George Halani camp, sus, like Halani and a rookie, and then maybe Sharps comes back at the end. So maybe you could then have three guys. I struggle with Emmanuel Wilson. Maybe it ends up being Emmanuel Wilson. I took a little of him before he got up this high. I'm probably fine right now. I just want to see what they do in the draft at this point. Rodgers third is a bottom third quarterback. Most of the time, I get he might have one or two spike weeks, but I'd rather avoid having to rely on 42 quarterback and only good against the Ravens. I mean, fair. It's just, I do think having three quarterbacks is a value for multiple reasons. One, bye week consideration. Also, a lot of times, I think you'd be surprised how often they hit the lineup. We see it every year. Tyler Shuck last year at the end of drafts, Daniel Jones, like people were writing these guys off as total dead and, played well and played far better than, guys people were much more hyped on. And also injuries. Like, Brock Purdy was 100% the guy you need in the postseason, fantasy playoffs. Guess who would have helped you get there? And Aaron Rodgers. Like Aaron Rodgers last year, some of his best weeks, not necessarily like some of his peak weeks, but had some like consistent mid to high teen weeks in the weeks where Purdy missed. So Aaron Rodgers on a Purdy team with some other quarterback probably would have hit the lineup 6-7 times last year. And that could have helped get you to the playoffs and then allow Purdy to win you all the money. Right, tie in here. Steve-O, missed your voice. Appreciate that. I imagine April Fool's from them, but they did put it out. It's very odd. Is it on their main account also? And for them to not automatically say something, it's just, to me, it's a bad look. Like, I love Underdog, but it's a really, really bad look. Also, okay, they just put it out. Also, April Fool's drafts aren't going anywhere. In fact, let me read off this tweet. In fact, let me hold this over. Also, April Fool's drafts aren't going anywhere. In fact, we will be shipping some new things we're very excited about: salary cap drafts and World Cup drafts. Additionally, we're adjusting our navigation with lobby, active, completed, live, and results all in one place. Don't know if that is great. don't know what they were doing. So let's look. So this graphic just basically says that salary cap drafts are interesting. That is interesting. I've always wondered if they could do that, and so that could be fun. Will definitely be a whole new avenue and window to do, and World Cup this summer, right? So, okay, well, I appreciate you letting us know in chat. I don't know why they waited 4 minutes or 10 minutes to do that, like the April Fool's side of it. Bold strategy. All right, let's talk about a couple more teams and then actually get into some drafts. Give me a second. So that definitely threw me for a loop. And all right, let's see if we can share this again. Not sure what is wrong. Okay. So let me catch up in chat. Then we will talk about one or two more teams and then get into some drafts. But I thank everyone for all the comments. Disagree is secretly sure. I mean, and this is more just saying like, and look, I'm not the biggest like you need to stack everyone. Sometimes I think you just take a third quarterback to take a third quarterback. I've done that plenty. I've been in positions where I'm like, okay, like I'll take Tyler Shuck. My ideal is to get Juwan Johnson later. But if I don't, maybe I do Vele, but I'm not going to like break my neck trying to get him. So the idea here is also stacks. And speaking of the Saints, that actually is, one that should be considered because I like Kamara, Juwan Johnson, and Vele, and Shuck's price. But the one I wanted to mention is the Texans. And I think Meg is very much in disagreement with this. I'm going to be a little bit more bullish. Texans are kind of like the poor man's version of Seattle. Nico at 24. To me, he's a guy that has top 5 receiver upside. So I think even there, he is a ceiling case. Dave Montgomery, RB 24, ADP 57. I think the runway is wide open for him to have a good year. Texans have done a nice job upgrading their offensive line. Ideally, they continue to do that. And then there's just a massive gap. Jaden Higgins, ADP 125, wide receiver 54. CJ Stroud, quarterback 23. I don't think Stroud's going to be a league winner. I don't think Stroud's going to be a top 10 quarterback. But I think Stroud can be better than quarterback 23. I think he could be quarterback 17, something like that. And we've seen some, solid spike weeks from him in years. But now having Woody Marks fall and generally continues to fall beyond this, so I started taking him. Dalton Schultz, I talked about it on the show with Who Heems, is just, he's free. At pick 178 for a tight end who, had 100 targets last year. But it's not just that. 3 straight years of 80-plus targets. Touchdowns have been lighter. I think it was 2021. He had like 7 with the Cowboys. So since then, it has been lighter. But 5 to ideally more like 5 touchdowns. Maybe doesn't get 77 yards again, but should be in that high 500, 600 plus range. Easily could be a consistent producer for you. The one inefficiency with the Texans is I think I'd rather take Noel than Dell. And that's how I do it. I think Noel, especially where he goes now, is just absolutely free. But Dell just coming off back-to-back leg injuries, he's going to be a wait-and-see guy for me. But to me, the Texans are a fairly cheap offense, and I think there's enough upside here for it to pay off quite a bit. I don't think it's a like a CJ Stroud's going to suddenly become Caleb Williams and be just have this massive jump. I think we kind of know what CJ Stroud is, but we see that like he's the poor man, like a Jared Goff type. And when the offense clicks, when everything comes together, when he's not under pressure every other play, I think Stroud could be fine. Next offense I want to talk about, and this will be the last one before we get into drafts, is the Patriots. So I said this a little earlier. Travion Henderson, he's a little rich for me at 50 for not a full-time guy. But as I said before, Travion Henderson and Breece Hall, they're essentially the same type of player, explosive guys, big time, can have big time pass game work. One is in a top offense, one is in a terrible offense. Hall obviously has a better track record, both former second round picks. There's just a lot of similarities here. Henderson is more in a split role, but the offense is just going to produce way more. And Henderson had 10 touchdowns last year. Is that definitely repeatable on that many? I think you'd need more catches. Those attempts numbers will probably be sub 200 again, I would imagine, because a chunk of those were in the Stevenson games that he was out. But he could jump his catch numbers by a pretty wide margin. Breece Hall is not. I think he's 1 year of 9 touchdowns. I don't even know if he's ever hit 10. But what I like is the rest of this. Drake May, he started this contest way too high. Now he's fallen way too much. Josh Allen should definitely be above him, and I think Lamar is above him just from a consistency standpoint. I think you can make a case for May being QB3. He is quarterback 7 now. There's definitely a ceiling here, and he has the ability to finish QB1. Ramondre, RB29, the year that he had last year, playoff run. I see nothing fully changing with his game. In fact, ideally more efficiency. He had 9 touchdowns himself. He had pretty good passing numbers. I actually think he ends up with more carries than Hendo. So, remember he missed 3 games last year. So that was part of it. But what we really like here is the receivers. Romeo Doubs, I don't care if they trade for A.J. Brown. Romeo Doubs to me is going to be a very good value at ADP 95. And sure, sometimes you need to take him at ADP 85. Even there, well worth it. The Steph Diggs last year, the Patriots #1, who was coming off an ACL injury, and older, though, probably a higher end receiver, finished as a top 20 receiver in the league with Drake May last year. Romeo Doubs is currently wide receiver 44. Even if you say he's wide receiver 34, there is a more of a ceiling outcome for Romeo. And that is even with A.J. Brown. Said it before, the Patriots were very low volume passing offense last year because they were so good, because they had such an easy schedule. That is not likely to be the case. They're likely to be in much more competitive games, shootout games. That is a positive. That is a very big positive for this offense, because too many times this offense just took their foot off the gas. I can point to any number of games: Carolina, Giants, Jets. I think both Jets games. At least one of the Dolphins games, if not both of them. They had a very easy offense. Titans game, Titans got up early and then the Patriots poured it on, but then they stopped. Kind of the same thing with the Browns. Browns got an early lead, so the Patriots had poured it on second, third quarter, but then they stopped in the fourth quarter. There are very few games that the Patriots were playing 4 quarters. I think that changes now. I think that's great for May, definitely for Romeo, and also great for Hunter Henry. Talked with Hames yesterday. Hunter Henry had one of the best red zone target rates out there. No Austin Hooper now. So far, they haven't added anyone else. Even if they do, I think he can easily pay off tight end 20. Again, is he going to be a top 5 tight end? No. But can he be a top 10 tight end? Absolutely. Right now, I'm just kind of split on Kayshon Boutte and Kyle Williams. Not really taking Mac Hollins. I'm sure he'll play some snaps if they don't add much more. If they don't add much more, there's a path for both Kayshon Boutte and Kyle Williams to pay off. I see Demario Douglas and those guys just seeing their roles just getting very diminished. But at these current ADP prices, I don't mind still taking some shots, especially at Kyle Williams. He's just absolutely free. Second year, potential 3rd round pick. Give me some usage there. Boutte is obviously shown more in the NFL. But if A.J. Brown comes, I do think it would kind of nuke Kayshon Boutte quite a bit. So that'll be the last team we talk about for for Undervalued. We can talk more about it in drafts, but I want to get in a couple drafts. So let me count it down, since Underdog, had that hilariously funny "we're ending draft games" tweet. So let me count it down here. I'm going to enter this big board. I have 27 left, and we are, let's see what percentage we're at. We're at 87%. I think it was about 1.5% again, maybe 1.8%. So it is picking up. I'm going to have to probably enter a few slows, but not right now. We're going to enter this fast, enter in 10 seconds, enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. For real, basically, we're world's joke they could do 100%. Like, just with, and coming on the heels, not just their firings, but like PFF, just so many other like sports things are getting shut down or firing and stuff like that. And like, what are you doing? So, Bobert, hopefully you've caught up. The drafts are not going away. That was just the worst. I thought Hartman was messing around. Has to be an April Fool's joke. Bad one, yeah. I want to see if it's eastbound down with McCarthy and Rodgers if they try and run it back into the sun. Love that. All right, we're in here. We got Kramer in here, fully loaded. B. Grandy, not sure if anyone, and if you have, I know I'm behind Go Vikes. Buddy Man, so potentially a lot of people in chat in here. Appreciate that. Let me know if you're in chat. In particular, if you're a FanSpeak member, we obviously give reviews on those teams. So let me know, shout it out in chat, and we are going to get this draft started. I had the 5th pick, and I might just be taking Jason, who I talked about. I don't think he is necessarily undervalued, but I do think the Seahawks offense is. And this is what I do like, is offenses that they can all pay off at their ADP. Even some higher ones can. Like, the Colts. The Colts, JT can pay off a first-round pick. Tyler Warren can pay off his, mid to late 60s ADP. Alec Pierce kind of in the same range. And then Downs where he goes, and of course Daniel Jones where he goes. Like, they can all be very efficiently pay off their ADP. That's what we generally want. And yes, even some higher teams like the Bengals, like the Rams, and to the point, I think Julian's made about condensed offenses, A, those are more condensed offenses, but B, they're also great offenses. So the scoring potential, the yardage potential, the volume is just way higher than for a condensed bad offense. It's wild to me that we take 2 Jets. We only take, technically the quarterback, Josh Allen. But before we take another Bills skill position guy, we take 2 Jets. That seems off. And just historically, it has been. Like, we haven't seen both Brees and Garrett Wilson. We've seen them be good together, but not great. And honestly, the best year for Garrett Wilson was the Aaron Rodgers year, and that was with Devontae Adams. But that was, again, Rodgers threw 30 touchdowns. Not sure we're going to get that from Geno. If we do, then Garrett Wilson can pay off. When does adding stuff become too much stuff? Yeah, I do wonder what that means for like some of these other contests, like marathon, sprint, weekly winners, a limb. Like, are they pivoting away from some of those to add salary cap? Salary cap would be interesting because you could get repetitive teams, right? Like, I do wonder, like, are the cap dollars going to change? So I'm guessing the contests are pretty locked in, but can you just be like, I'll be interested to see how it goes. Let's say it's somewhere like a 150 max, and you build out a team and you're like, hey, I want 3. And if it's done in pods and not like a free-for-all like marathon, like everyone's together. So A, is it that? B, we'll take Hampton here. Chargers are another one that I think are fairly efficiently priced overall. So is it that, or if you're just doing 12-man pods and it's just broken up randomly in 12-man pods, I'm guessing it's not. So I'm guessing it's more like maybe that becomes their marathon format is salary cap. I don't know. I'll be interested to see how they do it. Because can you just say I want 5 of the same team? Kind of like what people do in like DraftKings, where and not just in 50-50s, but you'll see some people have 2, 3, 5, 10 of the same team to just like try and capture all the top prizes or something like that. Usually I think that's done by mistake, and I've definitely done that by mistake. I've just entered a dummy lineup and haven't been able to pivot all of them in time. I will take AJ Brown. Don't have a lot. So I am definitely using BBO to help me get some more exposures up. A lot of guys in this range I'm under on. So figured I'd pivot here. They barely support DraftKings now, and they want to roll out all this new stuff after trimming staff. Yeah. Kind of with you on there, Pepper Tony. Wait, World Cup Steve-O Speak streams. I know very little on golf. I have some cousins who know a lot about soccer. Maybe I could convince them to do a show. Bobert, yeah, I would have waited till tomorrow. I'm 100% with you there. Salary cap drafts, everyone will have a chance at every player. It does remove more of the luck element, places higher emphasis on skill. Totally agree with this. And I've said this before, like for where we go, because we're just forced to take guys in ADP, and sure, you can move a guy up, 10, 15 spots. But honestly, like this third round, not third and fourth round are not the greatest. Like I didn't love taking AJ Brown. I would easily, whatever his salary cap is, I can almost assuredly say I would trade that for 2 8th round picks. Yeah, it's just very, I feel a lot of these guys in this range are unlikely to pay off their ADPs, or at best they just hit their mark. Not a ton of ceiling. And so if you go like, and not just do it from 2 9th round picks, but then you could have like 2 first rounders. You could have a JT, Gibbs start, and because you're just maxing your salary cap on 2 guys. So I'll be interested to see how they do it. I look forward to it. I think salary cap's a fun way to approach it. You'll go Luther Burden here. Try and catch up on comments. Does that mean auction? I can't imagine auction, because auction drafts take forever. So I'm guessing it's salary cap, like what's it called? Football Guys. I haven't subscribed in the last year or 2, but they used to do a big contest where if you subscribe, they enter you into this you have an entry and you build a salary cap team. And it was like a best ball format. It sets your lineup, there's no like setting lineup and all that. And they did this for years, probably still do it. And everyone would have a price range similar to an auction style, but their prices wouldn't change. So it'd always be good to wait until the very end to see if you're getting any value. What I'm guessing, and this is totally speculation, We'll go QJ here. What I'm guessing is it will be similar, where there'll be a couple different windows, like essentially like puppies. Like puppy 1, everyone's price is the same, whether it takes 3 weeks to fill, 5 weeks to fill, 8 weeks to fill. And then if it fills, then puppy 2 will come out and those prices could change a little bit, would be my guess. I don't know that obviously for sure, but that I think would be the best way to approach it. I think you do want to close, because otherwise everyone's just going to submit their damn lineups, September 1st, whatever it is right before the season starts. Like you'd enter a bunch of dummies and then just submit right beforehand. That'd be my guess, but tough to know. See, we got good to see you, Charles. Go Arizona Cards, or is Gozy? What did Meg call you? Gozy Cards or something like that. Yeah, I think the Houston offense is sneaky good. Like I think there's a ceiling to Stroud, but overall, I think the Houston offense could be fun this year. What the hell are you doing off stream when you draft? If you could break your neck trying to draft them. Calm down there, Daredevil. Yeah. Dell got bad news today or yesterday. Oh, what was it, Williams? I missed that. Speaking of Philly, there was a report out on ESPN. Not a good look for Jalen Hurts. I posted it in our Discord. If you haven't signed up, we have a free Discord. Check it out. It doesn't sound great. Not any ADP values here. I will take Jalen Hurts, even though Brown could be gone, and the report that I just mentioned. But I want enough. We know he's just a proven fantasy commodity. Even if he's closer to last year, he could still pay off this range. Like styrofoam dough. Who I'm saying he heard Chad Candles talking about it. He hadn't heard it himself. Okay, I will have to look into that. Chisholm is the Patriot you need. Yeah, who knows? Maybe Efton Chisholm becomes a new slot. And if there is no AJ Brown, that slot position could be more open. I could see them trying to attempt to get Booty or Kyle Williams to work out of the slot more. Neither did a ton last year, but that's because they were well stocked at slot receiver. Because Diggs would go inside on 3 wide receiver sets, or Demario Douglas. If they don't get AJ Brown, because if they get AJ Brown, then I think they're going to try and really push those two, Kyle Williams and Booty inside. If they don't get AJ Brown, and there's the slot position could be far more wide open. I'll take Sutton here. Go to the board and back to chat. Laundry made me proud last year. Being right was icing on the cake. Nice. New England will be on a harder schedule with the target on their back that they can't score. Yeah, I think they're good. They're a good offense, a very good offense, and I think a tougher schedule actually helps them. And just because it's a tougher schedule doesn't mean it's tougher defenses. Like, sure, what are we? When they play the Houston Texans, is that going to be a good game? Probably not. It's probably not going to be a good game for anyone. But they're. For a lot of these other teams, when they play them, yeah, they could be some shootouts. Got Kramer in here. Good to see you. B. Grandy, good to see you as well. Just trolling. Okay. I would do salary this way, having a player values, draft picks, total salary. So you could draft Rico as your first pick if you think is best value. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, if you're saying it's, and that's the thing, like, is it pod format where, we're doing this 12 thing? If I take a player, and it's almost like auction style, like everyone else in that pod can't get that player, or is it, can I build, as many teams as I want, and I'm just entered in as long as I meet the the salary cap max, and then you'll have that almost like DFS, like how many lineups should you do that don't spend to the max? Let's say it's a $200, kind of like auction style, $200 max salary. Should you always spend to the max, or should you try and get more unique by building some teams that only spend 190, 185, stuff like that. And then I also think we'll even give more to the question of, should we be, because now it's like impossible to get some stacks, right? And definitely impossible to get some double stacks, or near impossible, I should say. Where there, like you'd have the money to get essentially any stack you wanted, even if it was, the Bengals or the Eagles or whatever. Like you could afford that. Even if it's the top 4 Eagles, you could probably do it, and then everyone else is a $1 player. Do I recommend that? No. But you could totally max on that. So yeah, I'll be very interested to see how they release that, because I think it could be really good, but there's also a lot of ways it could criminally fail. Not criminally. I should watch what I say there, but like just be really blow up in their face. We'll take another Pittman here. I talked about it. The Steelers are under, even if I don't get Aaron Rodgers, the idea that Rico and Pittman can't pay off 92 and 101, it's a tough sell for me. Not forced to take anyone at anybody's ADP. Yeah. Luther Truther. In the NBA example, in the screenshot, it is still snake draft. Every player is okay. I didn't look closely enough because I was on stream. Thanks for looking at that. Okay, I'm looking at that now that I have a little bit of a gap. So yeah, still snake draft. It's all super flex, and I wonder if that's not, if it's not going to be for best ball. Maybe it's just for like dailies. So that's going to be interesting. And it says a $300 salary cap for NBA at least. But good pointing that out, that it's like that. I like drafts because no one can be on 100% of teams, and you don't need to pay for an optimizer to be competitive. True. I wouldn't mind salary cap, because I look at, the problem with the ADP is it forces things that, like, we've talked about before. Like yes, salary would force it to an extent as well, but at least I can make the decision. Like, for instance, I just took Cortland Sutton. Jalen Waddle, I think, is inefficiently priced. That big of a gap should not exist between Waddle and Sutton. When it's a 30-pick gap, we are saying that pretty definitively Waddle is the better fantasy pick than Cortland Sutton. And I don't think there's a great evidence trail to point to that. Could it happen? Yes. But it should not be a 2.5, 3 round gap. All right, here. We'll take Concepcion. makes it back to me. It's right at, right before his ADP, so I should hope so. And so the other issue is then when I'm taking Waddle, it's a huge opportunity cost because I just like the other receivers around him more. Even if the pricing is set the exact same, I could justify taking Waddle more if I can be pairing him with the Devontae Adams, with the Mike Evans, with those other receivers in that range who I like a lot, and then I pay cheaply for late guys to balance it out. I have a tougher time making the call Waddle over Sutton when, it's not just me paying that price, but me definitively not getting those other guys who I like. If I'm going to make a quote unquote reach, I like having the ability to make it up my own way instead of this throw 10 receivers at it. Sometimes when you do that, if you do, late wide receiver or anchor wide receiver, now you don't necessarily have to throw 10 receivers at it. It can just be more. Hold on, let me take Darnold here. You could still get by with, say, a 8 wide receiver build, but just for a comparison, let's say you avoid receiver let's say you totally avoid it for the first 6 rounds. And so then your issue is I can only take one of Pierce, Metcalf, Sutton, Parker Washington, if you like those guys. So best case scenario, you're getting a Pierce, Doubs, Pittman, Shakir, right? You're not where you could avoid 6 receivers and then the first 6 rounds roughly of receiver talent, but I could now, instead of 3 of these guys, I could take 5 of these guys if I can work out the pricing right. If I took 1 elite running back, 1 elite quarterback, depending on what the pricing is, the pricing of, let's just say it's based on how this current draft went, pricing of Godwin, Doubs, Wan'Dale, and Pittman, maybe you could fit it all in. So that will be interesting to see. So just definitely something to watch for sure. So sorry if you're not caught up, Professor. They are not going away. April Fools. It was a terrible, terrible joke. No idea why they did it. Fake news. Slipped a different. No one hurts. I don't think he should fall. I actually think my guess is, and I know some others who agree, I think this is a Nick Sirianni thing. I just don't think he's a great, leader type coach. Seems to be a lot of friction there. Seems to have been there from the jump. And Patullo is negative E. Oh, Kevin Patullo. Yeah. Reeks of FUD from Sirianni. Lamar had similar hit pieces out before Harbaugh got fired. Yeah, I like I just said, that's kind of what I see. I think this is because it was from Eagle sources, which i.e. Sirianni's camp, right? Patullo was awful. I'm very in on the Eagles this year with Sean Mannion. I do Chris Rodriguez. You don't need a source to know the vibes in Philly were horrendous. To completely agree. Kramer finally got the Raven stack. Yeah, I mean the Lamar Flowers. It's feels impossible. I say it every day, but it's true. And I don't take Flowers much, but it feels like every time I take Flowers, I don't get Lamar. And when I pass on Flowers, Lamar always comes back to me. This is a concern. Auction would be a cancellation nightmare. And that's why I didn't know if it was just we're all setting our lineups individually if somebody wanted to have 150 of the same team, they 100% could do it, because then there's no, there's no way of manipulating it. Like, the prices are the price. We will take Mark Andrews here. Probably should have gone likely for an exposure, but Andrews is just, to me, a better click. Sometimes Goddard would come back there, but he didn't this time. Henry goes early to fully loaded. I mean, I like that pick. Make sure to get the likes and the subscribes in. Amazing chat, people. Only 25 more subs till Steve is strapped in the chair for drafting 24 hours straight. You and pizza rolls keep him going. If this is real news, then it feels like they fired a lot of talent. Yeah, and it's not real news, so sorry. Agreed, but I'm saying, like, for me, it's also the combination factor, because the guy's taken around so even at the right price, and I agree, like, obviously you can fit that price in better. Let's say Waddle's like a $28 player and Sutton is a $14 player, $15 player. Tough to say without a baseline, but I can justify taking the risk on a $38 player or $28 player, whatever the price is, more if I feel overly confident about my lineup. My issue with taking Waddle now is it's also the opportunity cost, and I think that's more in a draft than in the salary cap, because I can adjust my salary cap to make up for it. Like I said, like having another guy in the same range. Devontae Adams goes in the same range. Let's say they're both $28 players. Well, okay, I just spent $56 on those two guys. Do I think Waddle's a little overpriced? Yeah, but I can live with it better than now. The way I do it, it feels like I got Waddle, but I took him 3 rounds too early. I know it would be easier if I had actual prices to play it out with. It's not that I totally disagree with you. It's just, I think it's a little easier to stomach those kind of things, those kind of quote unquote reaches. And, I could be completely wrong. It might not be a reach. It might be Jalen Waddle might be the great pick there. But to me, it's easier to stomach when I can fully build the team that I want. Like, now, the rest of my lineup is completely predicated on what the draft gets me, which is fine. That's the game we play. I sign up for it. But in that case, I have less interest in reaches or guys who I don't think can hit ultimate ceilings, because I need those ultimate ceilings from my highest drafted players. Not just obviously the price factor, but the the opportunity cost of it. And it's just same with like a DraftKings game. Hold on 1 second. Going up here, I think I go Barner for Seattle stack. Kramer takes a good pick, takes Barner. We will pivot to Hawkinson. So that could go as well. He does. So we'll pivot again and just finish up running back with Taj Spears, who I think is pretty undervalued. So like DraftKings, let's say Devontae Adams and Jalen Waddle are both $6,200 receivers. Cortland Sutton is a $5,400 receiver. And probably the gap would be different, even wider. But regardless, like every time, if it was draft format and I could only get one of them, I'm going to take Devontae Adams. He just says far higher upside ceiling, et cetera, et cetera. But there, if I say, okay, and this percent of teams, I want, and not just Adams, but Mike Evans, every other receiver, every other play in that range, I want to combo it with those two guys, and then I'm hoping to make up for it with a $3,500 receiver, some cheap play. Here, I'm just stuck with whatever the rest of the draft gives me. So I feel like I'm not explaining that well, but I do think there are some nuanced differences. And one of the things, like for an example, a great example was like the daily games versus DraftKings last year. Like with McBride's price when he was going in the first round or early second round every time, it was just such an opportunity cost. On DraftKings, I could pair McBride with Jamar Gibbs, and sure, that's a big chunk of my receiver or my salary cap between those two, but I could make that pairing. I couldn't take Trey McBride and spend an absorbent amount at tight end, a high pick at tight end, and Jahmyr Gibbs. It's just impossible. Nice. And I think that probably would work better slow. Paul saying could come to the dark side. Not taking Stowers. Rodgers is still there. We'll take Christian Kirk. Salary dailies are just fine for sit and goes, but can't imagine it on a 50K entry. Yeah, we got Chad Candles in here. GM Steve, hope you're doing well. Chad, Williams was mentioning you saw something on Tank Dell. I was just wondering what you thought. Salary equals auction. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see how they roll this out. Hurts will be a league winner down the stretch under interim head coach Big Dom. Hey Steve, do you think? Good to see you, Paulino. Do you think Hurts holds when OC can do back? Seems like a lot of questioning inside the building. I think Hurts has some limitations. I don't think he's, I think he's a great fantasy quarterback. I don't think he's the greatest NFL quarterback. I mean, he's a Super Bowl winner. Don't get me wrong, good quarterback. But I don't think he's on the same level as the Mahomes, the Allens, Lamars, those guys. Yeah. Is there a tight end? We'll just take Rodgers here. We'd bet on a Steelers stack. Rodgers as my third. Balance out this team. Probably we'll just pull up Pat Fryermuth, make Meg happy. Hopefully he gets back. Actually, I won't be pulling him up. He'd be a little past ADP. So let's see if we can get him. Hopefully Meg hasn't screwed his ADP too much. So sorry, back to chat. No, I don't think Hurts holds back in OC. I think there are certain things he's more limited on. But in general, I think most offenses could work with him. I think we saw, two coaches so far do really well with him, Kellen Moore and Shane Steichen. Other coaches, it's not been as pretty. And I think Sean Mannion is probably more in line with the, Kellen Moore, not just former backup quarterback, but just, I think more innovative, get the most out of Hurts. Like, I don't know what Kevin Petula was doing. Like, it was just so vanilla. It was so basic. I mean, literally in the playoffs, they were running the same play like 3 or 4 times and a half. Like, I mean, it was just so bad. And on gotta have it plays. Like, it was just very bizarre. And I truly think Petula held him back. So, I think Hurts, I think you need to adapt to some of his strengths a little bit more. And I don't know if that was just the issue with Kevin Petula or Brian Johnson beforehand. And even, honestly, Nick Sirianni before he gave up play calling duties to Steichen. He's the damn poet. The price is the price. Next Edgar Allan Poe here. So if Bijan is $100 and B-Rob is $10, but then Bijan gets hurt during the draft window, B-Rob probably becomes a first-round pick. Yeah, that's why I think they have to be like, and I say like puppies. I don't know how many they'll be able to fill, but it has to be like, sorry, tight ends went way too high. So let me just get Parkinson so I get somebody else that I feel okay about. So I think it has to be puppies where ideally once it fills, and that's why you do it this draft format, so you know when it's filling. Because otherwise, if you wait till the end, you just, like everyone sets would just wait till the very end and enter all their lineups. So I think you do this draft format, and then yes, if you're in this month window where roughly a puppy would fill in a month, sometimes shorter, sometimes longer, and we hear Bijan gets hurt in that month, that I think things would get really messed up. But I can't imagine they'd be able to change the price. That I feel like, like we see this on DraftKings when like guys get traded or guys get injured, like they're still out there. They put a big out sign next to their name, right? But you could have somebody draft them, like we see it in preseason. Like people know, like, Josh Allen's not going to play. Josh Allen will still be drafted. Oh boy, let's make this pick. We'll do another Philly bet. Good old Hollywood Brown, low insurance if AJ Brown gets traded. Meg, celebrate your life choices. The beauty of drafting over a period of time in a season-long contest, ADP changes with news and industry takes. When you write early, you're right. It should only apply to weekly contests. Yeah, and maybe that is. I mean, they didn't clarify that these salary cap games are going to be for best ball. It could just be for weeklies. We'll have to see. Trying to land the make stack. I see. Yeah, and I failed. I didn't take Fryermuth. WFN Warehouse. Did we hear some similar chatter last year? Hurts does a motion wide receivers. Yeah, and I think it was Paulino who said this feels like it's coming from Sirianni. I think there might be some smoke there. Like not all teammates love him, but I think that's rare. Like you have some. I don't care what quarterback you are. Like there's like Tom Brady, Peyton Manning. There are some of his receivers who would jump in front of the train for him, feels like. But then there's others who will throw him in front of that train. I think that happens with everyone. Speaking of Eagles, how are you feeling about Barkley? I'm feeling good. The rumors that an offensive line was retiring turned out to be totally false. They should be healthier. I expect them to heavily address it in the draft to add some depth. And just a more innovative offense, I think, is good for Barkley. Barkley obviously didn't pay off his ADP, but he wasn't the worst running back in the league. He had 214 points last year, and a lot of that was just, his touchdowns essentially cut in half. Yards as well, I understand, but the 338 might be tough. But could he put up 250, 260, 270? Yeah. Just give him some more touchdowns. He'll need more carries. I mean, he's still with 280 carries. Yes, it was down from the year before, but I think Barkley can be back to being for sure a top 10 back, and 6, 7, 8, somewhere in that range. So we'll tack on a tight end. I didn't get Malik Willis, but right now Greg Dulcich might have a role. We will wrap up this draft. I don't think anyone. Well, I appreciate being in here with a lot of people. I don't know if anyone in here is a FanSpeak member, so I won't do full team reviews, but I will, just give a kind of a little look at where things stand. So, all right, this is the last pick, and then we'll go over my team and then take a look at different builds that people started with. So I did 3-6-8-3, Hurts, Darnold, Aaron Rodgers. Did get two of the teams that I mentioned about being lower owned in Seattle and Pittsburgh. Chargers, Martin Hampton, Quinshon Judkins, Rico Dowdle, Chris Rodriguez, Woody Marks, and Taj Spears. I think Taj Spears from another team, actually both Houston and Tennessee under-owned. For sure. JSN, AJ Brown, Luther Burden, Cortland Sutton, Michael Pittman, Casey Concepcion. So 6 receivers in this range. I think it's good. It's a nice combo of like young upside, veteran presence, 1s or 2s. So it feels pretty strong there. Added Christian Kirk late, Hollywood Brown, 2 veterans who, right now are number 3s on the team, and almost surely that's what Kirk's projection should be. Hollywood maybe steps up if AJ Brown gets dealt. Mark Andrews is kind of like my anchor tight end, kind of thin from there with Colby Parkinson and Greg Dulcich. So I need Andrews to be healthy. If he is healthy, though, he could be a top 10 tight end. So don't hate that at all. So no Kramer and Beaker Andy were in chat. Both went 3-6-8-3. Not sure if anyone else was in chat, but Kramer with the Chase, Henry, Olave, Flowers start. He said he got that Raven stack. Grandy went double anchor running back, JT and Kenneth Walker. Came back with Rashee Rice, took Loveland. Probably was looking for Mahomes later. Didn't get Mahomes. Did get Caleb with Loveland. So thanks for drafting. We'll get into another draft and keep talking. Underdog definitely made it a lot more to talk about today, that's for sure. All right, let's get into another draft. I'm going to enter in 10 seconds. Enter in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, enter. Great, still waiting on a couple. Oh, Grandy. Okay. No, appreciate you for joining. Appreciate that. Let me I will, because I do want to review your team real quick while we wait for this one to start. I'll bring it up in another window and read it off. And thank you so much for joining. Also, for those interested, we do 2 members-only streams a week, one live with Meg and I on Sunday nights, our Sunday Night Football during this off-season. We'll obviously change that during the season. And then I do a stream, generally been talking about different topics, mostly rookies of late. So that is another benefit for members only streams. And as anyone will tell you, the Meg and I shows on Sunday night do typically go off the rails. Can be a lot of fun. So this draft is filled. And let me look up Grandy's team real quick. I finally got to it. He went Caleb, Cam Ward, Justin Fields. I think Fields, I've done it once or twice. In drafters the other day as well, even though I think that's thinner on a format like drafters, but I just need a third quarterback. I think Fields has some reasonable value late, just not knowing the full prognosis with Mahomes. JT, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre Stevenson, Tyron Tracy, Emma Johnson, and LaQuint Allen. I even like the LaQuint Allen pick. Likely to have at least a floor of like 20+% snaps. if anything happens to either running back, he could see a bigger role. If one of them fails, because they're both kind of projection plays, Tootin and Chris Rodriguez, he could earn a bigger role. Receiver room, Rashee Rice, Rome Odunze, Chris Godwin, Wan'Dale Robinson, talked about earlier, being very undervalued, Josh Downs, Jalen Naylor, and Malik Washington and Alec Iominor. So solid wide receiver room. The Rashee Rice thing I'm worried about. I know not everyone feels the same. If he's back, though, him, Rome, Godwin, Wan'Dale, Downs, that's very strong. I love the Jalen Naylor pick. Malik and Iominor, just young guys. Hope they get a bigger role. Tight end room, Loveland, Sadiq, Gunnar-Helm. Colson Loveland I think he is upside to be tight end 1 on the year. Sadiq, obviously, top tight end drafted this year. And Gunnar-Helm feels like a good, solid floor play. With Chig gone, he just has a much bigger runway to pay off. So in this draft, we got Green Bean in here, Index, Brandy again, Go Vikes. That's all I see. If anyone else is in here, say hi. All right. So Green Bean goes Gibbs 1, Index takes Puka, Brandy, Lamb, and I'm at the 10 spot. All right, so I'm kind of even on these guys. So let me just take James Cook. Meg would love this team if you went Scatterbo over Judkins. Absolutely. Sunday shows are peak content. Index, appreciate that. Rudy does steal the show. Meg's boxer Rudy will usually make a couple appearances or just be very loud in the background. He's pretty young. Just turned a year. Thought I clicked on it. Did not. But I think Achan's good there. I don't love the Vikings, but he's very talented. Missing out on the Rodgers Frymeats stack drove me into drinking profusely. Don't know how you're staying strong after that last draft. Appreciate that. JT in here checking in. What's good, Steve-O? Doing good. Second draft of the day. Talked a lot about Underdog's announcement and how they handled it. Not ideal, but them saying that there's going to be salary cap draft games. They don't specifically mention for best ball. So we've been debating that and questioning that quite a bit. Rudy Schaub, Bach Park, where's my cut, Steve? Love seeing the chat about Sunday shows and Rudy appearances. Yes, I could not land the Rodgers Frymeats. Oh boy, coming up here, quite a bit of a gap. One double running back here. Sometimes I tack on a third, but a lot of times I just like to balance it out. Take two receivers here, go pretty strong in both positions, and then go from there. So, just Bowers and McBride. Bowers going ahead of McBride. Actually, don't hate that. I I think Bowers has a better chance of being tight end one than McBride. I think they're both part of weaker offenses. But to me, McBride has better target earners on the team. I know a lot of people question Marv. I still think he's, still has a high upside of being a very good receiver in this league. And I think Michael Wilson's solid. I don't love all their ADPs. And, again, this is the example. Bowers goes roughly the same range as McBride, and the Raiders, top receivers go way later. And yes, talent's a thing. I get it. But one of those feel wrong. So Josh Allen, James Cook, let's just make the team correlation bet, also getting Allen to fall 5 spots. I think opens up, this to be a potentially, usually I go 3 quarterbacks, but let's see what I want to do here. I'll take Luther Burden. I'm just a little behind on Burden right now. I like Odunze over Burden. I don't want to be out on Burden. I think year 2, he could have a lot of upside. Would have liked a better wide receiver 1, but all these guys feel kind of similar. I didn't really feel like totally pulling somebody up. JT, thank you for the comment. It was actually, I think 2 years ago, actually it might have been 3 years ago, they did a free draft Superflex contest. Last year, they had the big board, little board, war room, and bigger board. They also had the biggest board, and they had a little board too. So they did have 2 more contests. Now the little board 2 didn't come out till about 5 days before the draft, so that didn't work out too well in their favor. I still think they could release something small, like a $20,000 $5 entry, 5 max. I think that'd fill pretty damn quickly. So yeah, they did it more. And the other thing is the little board and the little board 2 were both 50 max entries. So you could have had, which I did everything, I maxed everything last year, but the biggest board, so you could have had, and not even counting the biggest board, you could have had an extra, because right now they just have 1 little board, so 30 entries there, and then 50 for the little board too. That's 80 more drafts you could have done. Didn't want to chase other running backs for gaining edge on the field. Index, let's look at what he did here. Puka, the Bowers pick. Then Etienne, Loveland, so double elite tight end. Yeah, I generally like to get Bowers and McBride. I think they both should be 3rd rounders. Mixing them in a little bit, I think is fine, for sure. But I just find it interesting, more Bowers going ahead of McBride. I think that's the most likely, more likely scenario. Honestly, I think the guy with the best tight end 1 odds could be Loveland, who you got as well. Would have maybe pulled up QJ again. I have a lot of Swift, but I'll keep taking them. This is a team correlation bet. I just think the Bears are going to be a really good offense. And now I potentially set myself up for 5 receivers to go 9, or I'm sorry, 5 running backs to go 9 receivers. Throw a little bit more volume at it. Ben Johnson went to spam Loveland all playoffs, setting the tone for the year for sure. Yeah, that's how I think DJ Moore being gone, for Loveland in general, or Loveland specifically, like he had a good year last year, but he got kind of a late start because he was banged up in camp, missed a lot of time there. So early in season, Kmet was kind of like out-snapping him, outplaying him. That switched, I can't remember, it was like week 6, 7, where Loveland just kept taking on a bigger and bigger role. And then, like you said, like down the stretch in the playoffs, he was the guy. Kmet will still be out there some, but I think Loveland has grown into the guy very quickly, which is what they wanted and expected. And I think they continue to do that. I think it's Burton and Adunze. I think that these three guys, it's just easy to tie to Ben Johnson with the Lions. As Amonra, Laporta, and Jamo. That feels very likely to be a very similar situation. And none of those guys are we taking in the first round like we've taken Amonra for the last 4 years. And he's been paid off every year. It's not been a bad pick. Laporta, this past year was like roughly around the same pick as Loveland. And then Jamo was like a 5th rounder. So I think all three of those Bears can pay off for sure. And yeah, I just want pieces of the Ben Johnson offense. This is one where I think now with the DJ Moore being traded, I think it's relatively high price to pay for these all these guys, Swift included, Williams, but I actually think it's fairly efficiently priced. Because none of them are top 2, top 3 round guys, and Swift especially actually feels like the best value, just because I think there's a real path for him to be like potentially a top 12 back, and you're absolutely not paying that price. Monangai, like if Monangai went maybe 12, 15 picks later, but I don't hate him either. So it's a team where they are more condensed now, but it's also an elite offense. And it's weird. It's an elite. It has the potential to be an elite offense, and we're actually not paying any top 3 round prices for. That feels pretty good. And a lot of times, it's not till like end of the 4th round that it's like Burton or Loveland's the first to go. And here, I took Burton a little earlier. But yeah, Burton and Loveland both in the 4th round, and Swift, Adunze, and in the 5th, and then Caleb in the 6th. All right, coming up in a couple spots here. Let's look at what I have with Best Ball Overlay. And for those who aren't signed up yet, use code FANSPEAK on Best Ball Overlay. You get 25% off. It's a really good tool if you're drafting in a volume. Coming up, I think I go Addison, I think. Actually, I'm going to take Romeo Doubs. I just think there's a more of a bullish case for him to be the one on this team, where we know Addison's kind of capped. He's good, but he's capped. Tucker Kraft is interesting. I do want to get more of him. He's one I have rated higher, rated 79. I just don't take him enough. Might do it here. I like Ricky, I like Rico. But let me take Kraft. Let's get some more Tucker Kraft. So we are into the 8th round here. I'm at 2321. Coming up on B Grandy 124, Index 1132, and Green Bean 0340. So I know Index and now Grandy are FanSpeak members. If anyone else is in this draft and a FanSpeak member, please let me know. No one, doesn't jump out right away, and I apologize for that. You get a new list of all our members. But I do want to make sure I give reviews after the draft. I probably will wrap it up after this draft. Obviously, we still have plenty to go. We're not even halfway through. I do have some things I need to get done this afternoon. But I will be back tomorrow in the afternoon and then at night with Meg for Sibling Showdown. Friday, I'll be on in the afternoon. And then Sunday night with Meg again for our members only stream. Green Bean getting this Denver correlation, Sutton and Dobbins. Denver is a good offense. I think they're another one who's a little undervalued. I considered mentioning them earlier. Actually, I think Jalen Waddle's overvalued, but by and large, I think the offense is undervalued. Harvey, I think, is a little overvalued as well. But Sutton, Dobbins, Knicks, I think all those have good prices. Now the third wide receiver, whoever it may be, is drafted super late. It was always pretty good value. It's even later. If you do want to tack on Evan Ingram, I don't really do it, but it's a 20th round click for an offense that we know can be good. And they were just a little light on the touchdown department last year. That could change. You could easily swing to, them adding 5, maybe even 10 touchdowns to their offense total. There were far less touchdowns than you'd expect for how good that team was. So I think what I'm going to do here, I'm going to take Laporta and just stop at 2 tight ends. I know it's 2 tight ends coming off an injury, so it's less than ideal. But this, now I can throw 10 receivers at it. I do want to add to the running back room if I am only going 5. But I probably will take Jordan Love here, if not Jadarian Price or Kenneth Gainwell. Jordan Love goes, okay, makes that decision for me. And I didn't need Love with having Allen May. So yeah, I'll go 5 running backs, 2 tight ends. It's going to be 10 receiver team. So that probably worked out best for me. And yeah, I could have maybe pulled up Kincaid or sometimes Wade and he gets back to me. I didn't think he'd get back to me. Obviously, I love Hunter Henry later, but I do that a lot. Let's mix it up. Take these 2 earlier tight ends, but I think we both have some value. And we will need a lot of help at receiver. And this will, even though I'm throwing 10 at it, I'm not going to probably be counting on my flex coming from the receiver position too often. So Kittle goes between 2. And I know it's a Purdy team. I just wish Kittle would fall more. It's just so tough. Who Heems and I talked about yesterday. There's just so many good veteran tight ends. The Goddards, the Andrews, the Kelseys, the Fergs, young upside swings. Whether it's Sadiq or Chig or Likely, Juwan Johnson, all these guys. Not to say that they're all going to be better than George Kittle, but we also know they're all going to be 100% ready this season. So probably a fair number of them end up better than Kittle. So then Kittle has to do even more in the postseason to pay off his ADP to make it worthwhile. We will take Shakir here. It's a stack, third receiver, more of a floor play than a ceiling option, but it fits. So Jennings goes, he goes. Aaron Jones goes. Yeah, I will go Denzel Boston here. So this team is looking at now a 2-4-4-2. Still likely to add 6 more receivers. Just hopefully volume will overcome the weight. Grandy at 2-3-5-1 and Index at 2-3-4-2. Green Bean 1-5-5-0. So, by the way, Underdog edited their post and they added the April Fools to the initial one, but because that is now ahead of their and you have to show more to see the April Fools, but is now ahead of their quote retweeted post that shows the new salary cap game. Not great, not great, Bob. I'm glad they added the initial April Fools, but I would then retweet the new thing. I think the last thing you want is people scrolling down and just seeing that. Great. Coming up in a couple picks here. Done at tight end, want another quarterback, want another running back, and want a lot of receivers. Diggs goes, I will take Debo here. I know he'd probably go to 159. I think he's I just think he's a superior option than Hunter or Judy. I like Hunter, but in the more the right type of build. I mean, this isn't a terrible build for Hunter, and if Hunter gets back to me, I'd very much take it. Not a huge Judy fan. Probably taking my last running back here. And yeah, quarterback would be pulling up Gino. I don't think I have to do that for this kind of build. And we will take James Conner as my 5th and final back. Adding Debo, though, gives me veteran upside, a 5th receiver. We'll see where he lands, but tough for me to think he can't pay off his price. I know this is just so bad. They somehow turned a really cool announcement into everyone being mad, and then just doubling that. Like, this has been totally, and you know, this is maybe why you have a few more people working in the draft department. And Chad, just curious, because I mentioned it earlier, but you might have jumped off. Did you? Who said you had some Tank Dell news? Just wondering what that was. Curious. And yeah, index Underdog playing chess, not checkers. Yeah, they are. That's one word for it. No, I think they're doing quite the opposite. They're playing Candyland right now. And I love Underdog. It's not against an Underdog. It's just how you announce something like this. If they did this last year, totally fine. There's so much buzz and excitement and all that. But there's just such a concern out there in these markets, like all these, FanDuel like drop their pick'em thing, other sites, like what are they going to do? So not ideal. Just looking at quarterback or receiver now, and Rodgers or Tua is about it at quarterback. I really don't do two quarterback teams. Could this be an exception? We'll see. I think Ridley is an interesting click. Don't understand why Tyreek Hill hasn't fallen more. There's literally the only thing we've heard is Tyreek Hill announcing that he's having another surgery, and then Andy Reid saying, yeah, he needs to work on getting on the field first. Oh, far from a ringing endorsement. Sorry, there was a tweet, forgot what the base was. It said they were hopeful Dell would be ready at some point this season. Need to find the source, but it sounded bearish on the timeline. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I've viewed it this whole time, is it does not sound good. Now I almost wish I went Pitts over Goff or over Laporta. But let's take Tua here. Let's just get a third quarterback on the team. Maybe Jahan Dotson's my 10th receiver. Okay. Well, yeah, if you find it, love for you to share it. I'd not seen that, but obviously so many things can get missed. For me, I don't know why Tank Dell, and I know people say this is the range he goes, right? And same with the Tyreek stuff. And it's like, oh, what does it matter? It's a 15th, 16th round click. Dell went in the 15th, but it's like that does matter. Like they should be going in the 20th round, if at all. Especially Dell. I mean, give me Jalen Naylor can be the one. Tesla's the 3. Ridley, probably the 2. Trey Harris, the 2 or the 3. Like Tank Dell might literally be watching in the stands, like watching in the press box. Yeah, I just don't see the upside case there. All right, let me go back to the board. So I'm just taking receivers from here on out. We'll see how this turns out. Definitely, thinner receiver than I would generally like. That's what happens when you take 2 earlier tight ends. So we'll see if we can land the plane. And I'll be honest, I'm not too confident. No, I think it'll be fine. Just like I said, I'm going to need the tight end to fill the flex more. I'm going to need, Swift and Price and Connor to fill that flex quite a bit. All right, up in a couple picks here. We'll run on tight ends here. So that's the good news, is I don't have to worry about that. Take that Bryant and might just double tap Denver and ideally get, a piece of this Denver offense. I think I'd go Franklin here over Surratt. I like Surratt, obviously, but feels like that's the right call. Let me go back to the board. Got 2 more full rounds to go, so 2.5 rounds to go. And I'm about to come up on Grandy and Index and Green Beans picks. I like the fall on Vidal. I don't. Maybe Mitchell's the better play, but I don't know. I kind of lean Vidal. I just feel Mitchell's far more limited. I think he's got maybe 1 game in his career with 10 or more carries. So just have a tough time believing, A, if anything happened to Hampton, that he would take on a really large role, and B, even if it's healthy Hampton, like Vidal probably has more, red zone upside. He's just a little bigger. Well, I think Hampton's like the true going to be the goal line back and all that. But if there's ever a time where they need to give Hampton a break or whatever, like I think it's Vidal over Mitchell. And Vidal might be a better pass catcher than Mitchell. Mitchell hasn't exactly been the most dynamic receiver. Like Justice Hill clearly had that role above him when Hill was healthy. Great, coming back up. I would do my last 2 rounds here. and we'll go over the teams. Leo saying Titans signed Michael Carter. I don't think the Giants pass on Love. I mean, I don't think Michael Carter is changing the likelihood whether the Titans are drafting Love or not. You know, I don't think that ends up being factoring into the decision really at all. I don't. I mean, I know you. Sounds like you're in on Giants for Jeremiah Love. I just think that that'd be odd, given their backfield's pretty full right now. And sure, they could cut Singletary. It costs them a couple million. They could trade Tyron Tracy, maybe get a 7th round pick back. We'll just take an up. Actually, no, I said it before. I'll do Jahan Dotson. I think I'd like Jalen Noel better, but we'll do Jahan Dotson, not just for a stack, but you know, there's a path where he's the number 2 receiver in Atlanta. Definitely, that's how it's looking right now. So let's let this draft wrap up, and then we'll go over these teams. I did see that Michael Carter news, but yeah, I don't think that will make any sort of real factor. I appreciate you shouting it out, because you can't always keep up with news as these things are going. I still think Washington is most likely for Jeremiah Love. I think Giants and Titans, it's a lot of smokescreen. And of the two, I think the Titans would be the lean. Mike Orgonzi made a comment the other day, we're going to take best player available. I mean, that's kind of what most GMs and coaches say. It's actually kind of refreshing when Dave Canales said, you know, we're looking at wide receiver, tight end, and safety, I think. And yeah, there's guys at all 3 of those positions who could fit where they're at. All right. So let's go over my team first, then we'll do Index and Grandy's. And Green Bean, let me know. Sorry, I was trying to look for the list. If you're still if you're a FanSpeak member or not, I apologize for not having that on me. So my team, 3-5-10-2. Yeah, I think I've only done 1 or 2 others with 10 receivers. Usually I stop at 9, but felt I could pull it off this time. Allen, May, tacked on Tua at the end. Yeah, could have let May fall, but I think he's a value there at 50-63. It's probably where he should be going, and he just doesn't. James Cook, A-Chain, and DeAndre Swift is kind of my 3 core guys. Got Jadarian Price and James Conner late to fill it out. Luther Burden, Romeo Doubs, Khalil Shakir, Denzel Boston, Deebo Samuel. So usually I'd like to have 4 in the top 100. I get 2. I like to have 5 kind of in the top 125-ish range. You can count like Shakir in that as ADP's 126. But yeah, so it's much thinner than normal. But I actually like, from where the players are and what their roles are, you know, I need Burden and Dubs to be really good, but Shakir should be the number 2 in Buffalo, and it's a stack. Denzel Boston, we'll see where he gets drafted. I still think he's a first rounder, so probably a good number 2 and hopefully a touchdown maker for some team. Deebo still out there to be signed. He was a good number 2 last year. I think he still has that in him. Calvin Ridley, he's staying with Tennessee. You know, probably ends up number 2 in targets for Tennessee if he can stay healthy. Doubled up on this Denver thing. I did this yesterday, the day before. And hopefully, you know, I think both will have a couple weeks that hit value. And if one ends up being a far better pick than the other, well, then I got him. Kyle Williams, you know, talked about before, also part of a stack. But if they don't trade for AJ Brown, I think, you know, Kyle Williams could be a fun pick. And then Jahan Dotson. So overall, wide receiver room, it's thin. going to need some help with some landing spots with the rookie and Debo. And ideally, A.J. Brown doesn't get traded with having 2 New England receivers. But overall, I could see this paying off. And then only 2 tight ends, Tucker Kraft, Sam Laporta. I like both. I'm just lower on both just because I don't take enough tight ends in the top 100. So part of that was to mix that up. But then by just taking 2 there, it allowed me to throw more depth at receiver. All right, let's go we'll go in reverse order. So we'll go Grandy's team and then index. Excuse me. 3683. Dak, Stafford, Daniel Jones. So 3 starting quarterbacks. Derrick Henry, Javonte Williams, Blake Corum, Dylan Sampson, Kamani Vidal, Jordan James. So, 2 really good runners. Blake Corum, one of the best, number 2 backs in the league. Dylan Sampson, should clearly, has a pretty clear path to be Cleveland's number 2 back. Vidal, I mentioned during the draft. I think we've seen his ADP fall just way too much, so I like getting some of that value there. And Jordan James, I'm sure the 49ers are going to draft somebody. If it's in the second round, maybe that's spells trouble for Jordan James. But if it's like a 4th rounder, Jordan James could beat him out and be the number 2 there. Wide receiver room, and so then you get some really good value. Lamb, McConkey, Devontae Adams, so a couple of those guys stacked, and Lamb and Adams. Also, I should have mentioned Corum and Javonte. Jordan Tyson, Josh Downs for Daniel Jones stack, Jerry Jeudy, Darnell Mooney, and Malachi Fields. So mixing in a few rookies, a guy like Jeudy who probably doesn't have a massive ceiling, especially if the Browns are adding some pieces, but in that 160 range, he's going to pay that off. Downs has moved up, but for good reason with no Pittman. I think that's a strong wide receiver room. Top 4 feel really good about. Downs honestly well, especially factoring in ADP. I think Judy's fine at ADP. And then taking 2 swings at the end as well. Kincaid, Goddard, Terrence Ferguson. That turns into, I think, a very strong tight end room, especially if they can stay healthy. Kincaid has the injury woes. Goddard historically has had some injury problems as well, but when they're on the field, they're very good football players. They can give some spike weeks. To add Terrence Ferguson, who also could give some spike weeks. That should be a good tight end room, and of course, stacked up with Stafford as well. Index this team. Index this team here. 3773. Lamar, Ward, Shador Sanders, Travis Etienne, Kyle Monangai, Tony Pollard, Chris Rodriguez, Emmett Johnson, Sean Tucker, George Holani. I like how that running back room came together for like an anchor build. Etienne the anchor, Monangai, good solid number 2, Tony Pollard, probably undervalued right now. Has a much bigger ceiling than what this pick in ADP is. Chris Rodriguez, a little similar. I mean, more risky, but I don't think Tootin has this like lockdown role for the Jags RB1, particularly if we're just talking fantasy upside, because Chris Rodriguez could end up with like 8-10 rushing touchdowns, even if Tootin gets more snaps, more total touches. Emmett Johnson, Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker could be a touchdown machine there. Johnson, I think, probably still in the 2nd, 3rd round range of the NFL draft. And then George Holani, right now, probably the best back on Seattle for the start of the year. Receiver room, Puka, Parker Washington, DK Metcalf, Matthew Golden, Brandon Ayuk, Chimere DK, and Devontae Walker. So, I mean, Puka is such a great anchor. With only going 7, my one concern here would be taking a guy like Brandon Ayuk. Like, if he goes to Washington, maybe that pays off. But But a guy like Ayuk is just so risky to me. And then, a guy like Walker also is kind of risky. So my only concern is this could quickly turn into like a 4 or 5 wide receiver team, because DK could end up being a little buried. So that's I like the start. The first 3 are fine, even Golden Warrior gain them. But then I just worry you're not getting much from the back half, and only taking 7. Just the one kind of thing. But I understand the concept and idea with guys like DK and Walker late to pair with Lamar and Cam. Just a little concern of how thin it is, and like for me, I would that Njoku pick when you spend that on Bowers and Loveland. I mean, they could be tight end 1 and 2 for sure. I'd probably just throw in Njoku as another receiver, just because you have to fill out 3 receiver spots. And if something you quits on the team again, or Walker just gets buried after the draft, it just becomes a little thin. But the good news is your tight end room is strong. I think your running back room has a lot of value, in the quarterback room, Lamar and 2 others. And I do like Cam Ward a bit. So appreciate drafting, appreciate everyone for being in chat. I'm going to hit up chat and then we'll get on out of here. And thank you for likes, subscribing. Don't forget you can comment after the show. That helps us as well. I will be back tomorrow, like I said, at 1 p.m. and then at night with Meg, and Friday at 1 p.m. as well. So I want to get into chat and wind this down. Leo in here. Love will terrorize the Giants for years. Just so hard to pass on Arvell Reese, but not like they struck gold with Thibodeau and Abdul Carter. I mean, I do think Carter's pretty good. I don't think the Giants will have a shot at Arvell Reese. I think he goes for sure before them. It's more like Sonny Styles or Caleb Downs, which I understand those positions aren't as highly valued, similar to running back. It's just they don't currently have as good of options on the team. Where running back, Scadaboo is a good back. I know he's coming off a major injury, but he's a good back. Mike saying the Underdog main draft account dunked on Meg's favorite team. Underdog NFL. No, what am I? Mike, fill me in what I'm missing here. The main UD account took a shot on Meg's favorite team. Genty now running behind fullback should be fun. I agree with that. Like, I think them just adding to their whole roster should be good for Genty. So Green Bean, we only do reviews for FanSpeak members. I do, because you are a loyal guy. I do kind of look at the top and the overall build structure. 3-6-8-3 for Green Bean, Gibbs, and then 3 straight receivers, Nico, McMillan, and GMO, and then Meg's guy Scadaboo. So see, Meg was here just for you drafting Scadaboo would probably get you a full review. But I like, that's obviously the norm build structure. I like that anchor back, and it does look like you got another one pretty quickly, and then 3 receivers. But Mike, let me know what Underdog posted. It wasn't Underdog NFL, I guess main Underdog account. I don't even see that coming up. Here. The Dak Prescott April Fools. Yeah, I don't know what they were doing. Had a pictures of the Cowboys winning the Super Bowl April Fools. Yeah, gotcha. Index, after listening back, did the last half of the draft while in a meeting. Appreciate that, Index. Hope you're doing well. TD Mr. Mufasa, at this point, it's hard to believe Love falling past the Giants at 5. Their only other needs are on our wide receiver and guard. Harbaugh will get his playmaker. I mean, that's possible. It's just like, I don't want to fully rule it out, but the difference and even the Titans, I mean, Tony Pollard is a good back, but the difference is he's expensive and he's in the last year of his deal. Cam Scadaboo has 3 more cheap years remaining on his contract. Tyron Tracy has 2 more cheap years remaining on his contract. So the Titans, because Pollard's in the last year of his deal and Spears is in the last year of his rookie deal, so it's like a long-term investment for him. Like, yes, Jeremiah Love is better than Scadaboo. I'm not arguing that. But Jeremiah Love is also better than Quinshon Judkins, and nobody is saying the Browns should get rid of Judkins for Jeremiah Love. Like, nobody's saying that at all. And that is just wild to me. I mean, Jeremiah Love is probably better than Breece Hall. And the Jets just paid Breece Hall like $14 million on franchise tag. So I just think, yes, it's possible. I don't want to rule it out. I know they flirted with some free agents, and there are at least those rumors. I don't think it really got confirmed that they were heavy in the Walker market or anything. But it just seems less likely. And there's other elite players at, yes, non-premium positions like linebacker and safety. The issue is the Giants don't have like good in-house solutions, both short or long-term, for those positions, where they at least do with running back. And I know it's a bit of an if Scadaboo's healthy, but he was like at the Arizona State Pro Day, like, not like working out, but running around, and seems to be totally fine. And, just every report is sounding very good on Scadaboo's prognosis. So it's just one of those things, like, he's an upgrade, but it's like upgrading from, a B plus to an A plus. That's important. But, not a lot of teams are going to, when you only have so few picks, and it's even different when you're talking like salary wise, like a team. I mean, this is a bigger gap, obviously, but it's like the 49ers clearly chose Mike Evans over Juwan Jennings. But that's a salary, like, they can justify the salary. Are they making that same choice from a draft standpoint? Generally teams don't do it that way. But yeah, there's always exceptions. It's a new staff. That is a factor. Green Bean, I got you. Subscribe to everyone, just don't pay for a sub. I get it. I get that. And we appreciate everyone for being in here, just subbing, liking the episode. That helps us a lot as well. So thank you, and enjoyed drafting with you. And if you like ask a specific question, like, what do you think about this one particular pick, or something like that, I'm happy to answer those kind of questions. For sure. I mean, I've talked through whether it's in the draft or right after the draft, whatever. Sweetleaf, chances A-Rod makes through the season of 25%. Chances A-Rod sees ghosts 100%. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he missed one game last year. I don't think he missed any the year before. So, I think it's possible. I can see the Titans making the call for Love at 4-2. I just don't see him falling past 5. Ogier had the rug pulled by Bijan after a 1,000-yard rookie year. Totally agree. Like, I'm not saying Scadaboo, it should be, he is the greatest back of all time, but I just find it weird. The Giants are saying that, but the Browns aren't saying it as well. And honestly, Scadaboo outplayed Judkins last year. Meg, close your eyes. I don't think Harbaugh views Scat like the basketball community does. It's possible. It's very possible. And I'm sure Matt Nagy has a big voice as well. So we'll see. I just think the Giants, they could take the first receiver. They could take Cardinal Tate, or just take one of those elite defensive options. And I know people would say, Washington could make the same rationale at 7. And they absolutely could. Washington has bigger needs of defense, but they also have a big need at running back. Like, JCM he ain't it. Rashard White is fine what he does, but he's not it either. So I think like the gap is far bigger. Like between JCM and Love, we're talking like a C minus, a D plus to the A plus. So, all right, I'm going to get out of here now, and I thank you everyone for joining. Appreciate all the chat, all the comments. I hope everyone has a great rest of the day. Enjoy your drafts, and I will be back tomorrow. Peace.